Good morning, guys, and thanks for giving me a couple minutes of your time. Today we received an email from a client who was asking questions about our leasing fee and kind of why it was what it was. And I figured that while I sent her an elongated response, it would be just as easy to shoot a video, kind of give you guys the overview of why we do what we do and what's productive for Austin, Texas. So the objective of what we do in leasing your property is to hopefully do this one time and do it right. We want to keep the tenants happy and in place renewing their lease. What we don't want to do is have them turn over year to year. So leasing for a management company is not really financially productive. More importantly, it's something we need to do to find the best tenants and keep them in place. The market norms and demands really change from marketplace to marketplace. While our leasing fees are within the industry norms, they're not really focused on what everybody else is doing, but instead really focused on the best manner to get your home leased in the shortest amount of time. The leasing commission is actually the greater of 80% or 1 month's rent, or $1,000 minimum for low-end properties at this time with 1836. It is subject to change, but we feel that that more than covers our fees and what we need to pay others for outside commissions. Nobody's going to really show up once you take something less than $1,000 and divide it among brokerages, the broker's fees, the tax man, and then the agents, plus all the cost of marketing the property properly. So we need to have a certain amount of financial capability to properly market your property. Agents just won't show up for anything less than that. And we do share everything in Austin on the MLS. And so a lot of the properties are shown and leased by agents representing other tenants. For the sake of this example, we're going to use a property that leases for about $1,500 or $1,600 a month. The revenue that property would theoretically bring in from a tenant is about $53 a day. Having the property vacant and the owner then responsible for yard maintenance, utilities, cleanings, things like that, maybe about another $12 a day. Thus, to keep the property off the market is about $65 a day in this price range. Austin versus other markets, for kind of a little bit of macro view, cities like Killeen, Fort Hood, and Tucson, Arizona share nothing in the way of information and commissions. Therefore, it's hard to find properties listed for lease. This may save the owner money on the leasing fees, but it costs them more in vacancy than it saves them. Rents are also lower in those marketplaces, deterring anyone from the financial ability to offer greater commissions and share information. In markets like Austin and Houston, leasing commissions are shared between the listing broker and the tenants or the showing agents. Not the tenants themselves, of course, but the agent representing them. This compensates agents for finding tenants and ensures that there's incentive for, in Austin, over 11,000 real estate agents in our MLS to show your property. Put too little money out there in the way of commission and they'll simply show other properties and skip yours. I can tell you that I've seen this frequently. If you offer a little bit more in commission, even if it's as much as 10% of a monthly rent, which is $150 in this example, or $100 extra, they're going to add your property to their showing list because it's more productive for them, and who knows, it may work. The 10% difference really only equals about 2.5 days on the market at the cost. Houston is on the other side of the spectrum, even beyond Austin. They pay about a full month's rent to lease their homes, and that really forces agents to get involved in the leasing process because it's financially more lucrative to them. A little incentive goes a long way when it comes to agents. Austin as a whole is a little bit lower than Houston when it comes to those financial norms for our market. It's also less productive in showings and participation. So how do we get agents to show your home? The first thing we need to do is offer a reasonable commission. 40% is reasonable to drive agents to your house. 30 is the least I would see, which some people even still find insulting on the lower end. Then we have to get compensated for leasing the property. So while you may pay a little extra for someone to do a lease-only service, what you're not seeing is all the people behind the scenes that a management company has to orchestrate, such as written and photographic documentation of the property, its condition, to reduce security deposit disputes in the future, which are actually the biggest form of litigation in real estate by volume. Some companies do rely on the tenants to document the condition of the property or simply not document it. We don't feel that that's a good course of action, so we actually send people out to verify the property a couple different times. We want to make sure everything works in there. So when the tenants arrive, they don't have 10 different appliances that don't work on move-in day or doors that don't lock. What you're not seeing is the property behind the team behind the listing on the MLS, on social media, on syndication to 60 websites. Then we actually pay for another 60 plus websites separately to syndicate your listing. The organization of the cleaners, floor cleaners, locksmiths to ensure the property is up to code. You're also not seeing our unique marketing partners share your information with their contacts. No one nationwide has anything like this relationship with other brokerages that specialize in leasing properties. More importantly, what we're doing to market the property beyond what others are doing is to ensure that it leases as fast as possible. 90% of tenants start their search online. If there's one photo of the front or some dark photos from a smartphone, they may never go see the property at all, costing you more time and vacancy. I'm sure that you've seen these when searching for properties to lease or purchase yourself. No one wants to schedule time on their day off to see a dark, mysterious house. 1836 has professional photographers visit your house using a professional wide-angle lens to ensure the best photos. They'll also produce a new, unique floor plan diagram specifically for your home. Thus, tenants can figure out if that furniture is going to fit or not, all online from the comfort of their computer, which 90% do. Next, we've narrated walkthrough tours and are working to shift this to a 360-degree tour as soon as we can get the appropriate equipment and technology in place. All of this helps get your home leased faster. What's the additional cost to this? It's zero. It's all included in what we do for our base leasing fee. It does cost a few bucks for us to get this done. Thus, it's worth the money because time is money and vacancy will cost you more. On the listing side of this, it may cost you about 10%. On this example, that means $150 to $300. Getting professional photos, floor plan, video tour, and all that is next to possible for $150 to $300. With 1836, it's all included. All of this will ensure your property is showed more often to more prospective tenants who can find the property in more places, all seeing a significantly more detailed and better presentation than any other property online in Austin, all for about 10 to 20% difference in total cost, or about $150 to $300. Want the best tenants? Ensure the best presentations so that those that care about their homes and take care of their families think that your property is the right one to call home. Go through the process on the cheap. You'll end up getting less showings, fewer tenants from which to pick, and could end up taking longer to get the property leased, costing you the same amount of money and ending up vacant and still searching for that tenant. So I hope this really helps you. The Austin market has shifted recently from about 2 months inventory on the leasing side to 3. So it takes about 50% longer to get a home leased at the end of 2016, beginning of 2017 than it did in prior years. So sometimes spending that extra $150 or $300 will really save you $1,000 in the long run and help us get you to leased versus a long vacancy. Thanks for your time, and I hope this is helpful.